Hey guys, what's up? I'm Erin and welcome back to the channel. If there is one number that shows up consistently again and again in retirement planning, it's 15%. Saving 15% of your income and investing it consistently throughout the course of your entire career has long been considered the gold standard. It's the target that gives you the best chance of maintaining your lifestyle after you stop working. And the good news is, we're finally getting close. According to the latest data from Fidelity, the average total retirement savings rate, including both employee and employer contributions, has climbed to 14.3%. This is the highest it's ever been, and this means that Americans are finally inching towards that benchmark that financial experts have long recommended. But where did that number come from? Why is 15% the target? Not 10 or 20%. To understand that, we have to go back a bit. Back in the day, most Americans didn't worry about saving for retirement. That's because many employers offered a defined benefit pension plan where they promised to pay you a set amount for life. And this made things easier for you. You didn't have to decide how much to save, where to invest, what kind of withdrawal you would use. It was just sort of taken care of. But by the 1980s, the retirement landscape had started to shift. Pensions started to fall to the wayside, and in their place came 401ks. The burden for saving for one's own retirement went from the employer to the employee, and now we had to decide how much to save and how much to invest, and the very real risk of falling short became paramount. That's when financial planners, economists, and institutions like Fidelity began recommending simple, actionable targets. And that's when 15% emerged as a benchmark. Why is that? Because when you look at the math, using Monte Carlo simulations, retirement planning tools, and historical data, this is the number that if you save 15% throughout your entire working career from your 20s to your 60s, it gives you a high probability of replacing your income once you step into retirement. That seemed to be the sweet spot without having to heavily rely on Social Security or downsize your dreams in retirement. It's not just Fidelity either. Thought leaders like Dave Ramsey promote 15% into retirement accounts, especially Roth IRAs and 401ks after you've cleared up debt and built an emergency fund. Others in the personal finance space echo this because it works. It's clear, it's actionable, and when you follow it, it delivers. Could you save less? Sure, but saving 10% or so often falls short unless you start early or you work longer. Could you save more? Absolutely. Many FIRE enthusiasts promote this. They promote saving 20 or 30 or even 40 or 50% of your income. But for many Americans, juggling rent and groceries, utilities, childcare, and perhaps a student loan, it really may not be possible. So for many, saving 15% is enough to build serious wealth while still leaving enough room in your budget to enjoy today. And if you have an employer match, that can absolutely help you get there. It's important to say this too. 15% isn't magic. It's not a guarantee, and it's not perfect for everyone. If you're starting later in life, say at the age of 45, you very well may need to save more, like 25%, in order to catch up. If you saved aggressively right when you started your career, right out of the gate, you may not need to continue saving as much as 15% throughout the course of your entire career. Or if you expect to downsize in retirement and have lower expenses, you may not need to save this much. So of course, there's nuance to this, but it is a number that works across a wide range of people and a wide range of scenarios. It's a number that gets you in the game and puts you in control of your finances. Let's make this real. What actually happens when you save 10%, 15%, or 20% of your income across a full career? Let's say you start with an income of $45,000 a year, and you capture a 2% pay increase until you reach an income of $80,000 a year, at which point your income plateaus for the rest of your life. For many Americans, this is a very realistic income path. There's no windfalls, just consistent work and steady savings. By the age of 65, if you save 10% of your income, you'd have $1.23 million in investments. A 15% savings rate would give you $1.8 million, and a 20% savings rate would give you nearly $2.5 million. And here's what these numbers tell us. Even modest salaries can build seven-figure portfolios. The key isn't a huge income. It's starting early, investing consistently, and letting time really do the work. Early contributions matter most. Dollars saved in your 20s have the longest time frame to grow. Getting those dollars invested early can make more of a difference than a larger savings rate later on in life. When your salary flattens, your growth depends on discipline. In this scenario, once our individual hit $80,000 as an income, their salary leveled off, so their savings leveled off too, unless they were willing to increase their savings rate. This is why it can be so powerful to start early, saving aggressively and trying to hit that 15% as early as possible. The difference between 10% and 20% is transformational. You're not just adding a little bit more, you are doubling your outcome. And for retirement, that could be the difference between surviving and truly living the life of your dreams. If you use a 5% withdrawal rate in retirement, that 10% savings rate would get you an income that ultimately looked like $60,000 a year in retirement. With a 15% savings rate, you'd be closer to $92,000 a year. And with a 20% savings rate, you'd be living on about $123,000. Consider this. Every extra 5 cents saved per dollar earned can unlock tens of thousands of dollars in annual income. Just going from a 10% savings rate to a 15% savings rate can give you an additional $30,000 a year in annual income in retirement, and that is real leverage. So let's bring it home. If you start out earning $45,000 a year and work your way up to an $80,000 income, you save 15% consistently, you invest from ages 25 to 65 and capture a 7% annual rate of return, you'll retire with $1.8 million, enough to generate about $92,000 a year using a 5% withdrawal rate. That's more than your working salary ever was. It's basically the rate we recommend that will allow you to live the same lifestyle in retirement that you did before you retired. Now keep in mind that this is only the income that would come from your investments. It doesn't consider any inheritance, it doesn't consider any other income sources like Social Security, so you very well may end up in an even better position in retirement if you follow this rule. The national average savings rate of 14.3% isn't just encouraging, it's historic. And it's not happening by accident. It's the result of decades of progress and how we approach retirement savings. So let's look at what's driving this momentum and what it means for you. Baby boomers are leading the pack, contributing an average of 17 to 17.2% of their income toward retirement. That is higher than any other generation. And their average 401k balance? About $249,000. Now that balance might sound low, being that many baby boomers are at or near retirement, but this reflects real life. It reflects decades of saving, the fact that 401ks were introduced while baby boomers were just starting in the workforce, market ups and downs, and just real life factors. But what it does show us is the power of staying consistent. No matter when you started, no matter how much you started with, if you stay invested in the market, it can make a difference in the long run. Gen X is hitting the sweet spot with average contributions around 15.4%, right in line with the gold standard. And for those who have been saving and investing for at least 15 years or more, their average account balance is about $589,000, which is impressive. And about 14.4% of Gen Xers over 50 are making catch-up contributions, using the IRS rules to stock away extra in these final working years. But here's the tension. 45% of Gen Xers say they're not confident they'll be able to retire on time. Yes, they're saving more than ever, but they're also facing high life costs. They're helping their children with college, they're helping aging parents, and all of this is causing a great deal of stress. Many feel like they don't have enough time to course correct. And the truth is, Gen X is in a critical stretch. The habits are there, the contributions are strong, but for many, this truly is the decade to dial in that strategy and get intentional. Millennials are contributing an average of 13.5%, which puts them just shy of that 15% benchmark, but trending in the right direction. Their average 401k balance is about $67,000. And while that may not sound like much, keep in mind that many are still in their 30s or their early 40s, so they still have decades of compounding left. This is a solid foundation, but at this point it really comes down to consistency, about staying the course, keeping this high savings rate and increasing it over time, no matter what lies ahead, whether that is career shifts, inflation, market volatility. It's about staying the course and building on this solid foundation. Gen Z is still new to the workforce, but they're already making waves. Their average retirement contribution is about 11.2%, up from just 7% last year. Even more impressive, Roth IRA accounts among Gen Z are up 71% year over year. They're choosing after-tax flexibility very early in life, and this is something that wasn't even available to the generations that came before them at their age. Right now, Gen Z is proving that starting early is their superpower, and with so many leaning towards Roths, it's very likely that this generation could be retiring with more freedom and more flexibility than any other generation once they get there. Now, income level matters. High-income earners benefit from tax-advantaged accounts and better employer matching. Low-income savers often lag behind, but programs like auto IRAs and government matching aim to close this gap. But no matter what your income level, remember that even small contributions grow. There's power in just getting started and staying the course. Despite a volatile 2024, only 1% of workers stopped contributing to their investment accounts. 40% increased their savings rate, and the number of 401k millionaires jumped 27%. Now, over 537,000 accounts have seven-figure balances. So at the end of the day, most people are staying the course, and it's working. With all this momentum, you're not starting from scratch. You're joining a rising tide. And here's how to stay on track. Aim for 15%. If you're not there, start wherever you can. If you're at 10% right now, aim to increase your savings rate 1% per year. Maximize your employer match. I know you've probably heard it 1,000 times by now, but that is free money. Don't leave free money behind. Automate your savings. Use auto escalation if it's offered, and if not, make sure that you're escalating on your own. Choose the right accounts. Is that a traditional 401k, a Roth 401k, IRA, a solo 401k? Know what tools are available to you and make the most of them. And don't panic during downturns. Resilience is a superpower. Make sure to stick to your plan. So if we're getting closer to that 15% savings target, what's next? Here's where I think we're headed and why it's good news. More automation, smarter defaults. Auto enrollment and auto escalation features are really becoming the norm across both large employers and state-run plans and even small employers. Right now, the default is often set to 3%, but we're seeing defaults increase. The savings rate is going towards 6% or even 10% as a default. This is a great starting point, and it's nudging people ever closer to that magical 15%. Roth options are likely to continue expanding. Thanks to the Secure 2.0 Act, there's increasing availability of Roth 401ks and, yes, Roth matching contributions. And this will really change the landscape in how millennials and Gen Z retire thanks to this tax-free income. Personalized financial planning will get easier. We have more AI-powered dashboards than ever, and even the big platforms like Fidelity and Vanguard are now offering custom glide paths, real-time readiness scores, and adaptive investment guidance. Catch-up contributions and delayed retirements are likely to increase. For instance, many in Gen X know they're behind, but they're responding by having longer careers, taking advantage of those 50 and older catch-up contributions, or having a sort of phased retirement where they engage in part-time work in the start of retirement. We're seeing the employer's role expanding. More employers are offering emergency savings within 401ks, student loan repayment matching, and in-plan annuities for lifetime income guarantees. It's likely the middle-class retirement squeeze will continue. Rising costs and disappearing pensions are putting more pressure than ever on those at or near retirement. So we're really seeing those in this age group strive for multiple income streams, delay when they claim retirement, and engage in more strategic planning. The FIRE movement and flexible retirement is likely to go mainstream. More and more, we're seeing people target financial freedom at an early age, like 50 or 55, but continuing to work anyway. This is about semi-retirement. It's about choices. It's about autonomy. It's really about having control of your life. The future of retirement isn't about hitting one magic number. It's about building a life with options, where your money works for you, not the other way around. If you're hitting that 15% target, celebrate it. You're building real freedom and power and flexibility into your plan. If you're not quite there yet, say you're at 10%, no worries, that's okay too. Work on increasing that number over time as you can. Let time and consistency do the heavy lifting, because really it's not about retiring someday. It's living confidently today, knowing that your future is handled. So what is your savings rate? Leave it in the comments down below. I post new videos every single week. If you got anything at all out of this one, please give it a like. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, or if you know of someone who might get something out of this type of content, please consider sharing. I'll see you soon. Bye. I'm trying to make it so I don't have these false starts. I'm very cognizant of them, and I'm trying to get better. It's a work in progress. See, I'm working on it. It's so hard not to have these false starts. I'm working my booty off here. Per dollar. I made the text so small I can't read it, but I want to get this quote right, but whew, eyes are not that good. They say at 40 it's all downhill, so here we go. Many baby boomers, there's a bug that just went, and it was so distracting. I don't even know where he went, and now I'm nervous. I'm in this room with some random bug, so if I don't come out alive today, we all know what happened.